East Fishkill Planning Board meeting for August 19th, 2025. Will you please rise and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Upcoming meeting dates are September 18th, 2025 and October 30th, 2025. And please note the October 30th date is an unusual date that has been scheduled for a Thursday. Otherwise, most meetings are on Tuesdays. We have the minutes from the July 17th meeting for approval. Could I have a motion to approve them?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, first item on the agenda is, well, actually, before we get to the agenda, if you'll pardon me a moment, the Planning Board had 3 separate public hearings for the Comprehensive Master Plan, and we want to make a recommendation to the town board. So I have a letter that I'm going to read into the official record and ask for a vote by the Planning Board. This letter is dated August 19th. Today's date, addressed to Supervisor Nicholas D'Alessandro of the town board, and says, "Dear Supervisor D'Alessandro, the East Fishkill Planning Board conducted public hearings on the draft Comprehensive Master Plan at its regular meetings on April 15th, 2025, May 20th, 2025, and June 12th, 2025. A less formal workshop inviting public comment was conducted at the Community Center on June 11th, 2025, and the results were communicated at the June 12th regular meeting. During each public hearing, the public was invited to submit written questions and comments to the Planning Department at any time during the subsequent 30 days. In addition, several Planning Board members provided comments during these meetings, which are summarized in the bullets below. In general, the Planning Board is very supportive of the plan's vision and the goals presented in the document and offers the following comments for consideration. It is important that future zoning be written and implemented to capture the intent and vision of the comprehensive plan for retaining the rural charm and suburban convenience of the town. Public input has been important to the creation of the plan. In order to be able to respond constructively, the board prefers direct communication via public hearings, informal workshops, and emails to comments on social media. During the implementation process, perhaps a way can be found to open the forum to people who are unwilling or unable to attend meetings but wish to participate from behind their computer screens. The plan itself is aspirational, and the true work and measure of the plan's effectiveness will happen during implementation. In particular, an example was given that the plan's goals around supporting arts in East Fishkill. How the town works to put into practice these goals will be critical to measuring the progress and ultimate success of the plan. Based on the review of the plan by the members of the Planning Board and the results of the above public sessions, the Planning Board recommends approval of the Comprehensive Master Plan by the East Fishkill Town Board without reservation. Respectfully submitted, John Eichman on behalf of the Planning Board. Are there any comments or questions by members of the Planning Board? If not, I'll accept a motion to approve this letter, approve both the letter and the delivery to the town board.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, thank you. Now, the first item on the agenda is a public hearing, continuation of a public hearing by Shady Creek Road subdivision. And I'll accept a motion to reopen the public hearing.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. Welcome, Brian.
Good afternoon, Brian Stacosta, Dane Stacosta Engineering. Here tonight for a 3-lot subdivision. It's an existing parcel located off of Hillside Lake Road, just a hair over 5 acres in size. We're proposing 3 new residential single-family lots. We're in the 1-acre zone, so we meet the 1-acre zone threshold. We have 2 lots that are standard lots, and then we have a 3rd lot that's a flag lot. We're along a county road, so we've been in contact with Dutchess County Department of Public Works. We've reviewed the entrances with the county. They found them acceptable. The only thing the county really had a question on was just making sure that any development we do, we don't push water toward the county right away. So We graded the driveways inward, and we provided some spot elevations to show that we're not going to be directing any water toward the county right away. These lots will be served via individual well and septic. We have an existing well on site that will serve as our test well when we work with the Board of Health for approval of the well and septics on site. We've done soil testing with the Health Department. We have an active application with the Health Department. It's under review right now. And as we go through the process with that agency, we'll make any amendments to the plan that are required. But on site, we have sand and gravel, so it's a well-drained site. So we have in-ground septic systems. This will be a project that will require a SWIP, which is an erosion sediment control plan. We've provided that to the town. We're under a 5-acre threshold, so it's just a basic erosion sediment control plan. When the details for that plan are provided in the plan set, and when construction comes, they'll be on site and they'll be monitored by the town. Other than that, I think one of the things that Michelle mentioned at the last meeting was to provide a couple of trees on the site near the entrance, and toward the back where the flag lot is. We provided 10 evergreen trees spaced throughout the project along the frontage, and then along the boundary between lots 1 and 2 and the flag lot. I think other than that, we had the wetlands delineated by Mike Nowicki as Ecological Solutions. The flags have been picked up on the plan, and we've provided a demarcation zone to not go within 100 feet of those wetlands toward the rear of the parcel. And those are the standard posts with like 4x4 posts that are spaced every 25, 30 feet. So it'll demarcate, do not go in that area. So standard practice that we've done on subdivisions plans before. But that's basically the overall presentation tonight. 3 lots being created for single-family homes.
Hey, Brian, you said you were under the 5-acre limit, but the 3-lot subdivision is on 5.6 acres? Is that just because you're under 5 acres per lot, you mean? Or?
So the lot is 5 acres, 5.6 acres, and DEC gets in a different kind of threshold for stormwater management when you start to disturb greater than 5 acres. So right now, we're just a hair over 2 for site development, so we fall within that zone of 1 to 5. So it just basically requires a different set of detailed plan notes and a report to support development.
Okay. Other questions or comments from board members? Questions or comments from professionals?
A habitat assessment was done on the site that indicated that there was the potential for habitat for Indiana bat and Blanding's turtle, which are both endangered species. Essentially, the habitat assessment describes that the disturbance to the site would impact the Hoosick soils, which are on the site, which are used by Blanding's turtles, and areas, the water withdrawal that would occur as a result of the septic and the wells could potentially impact some of the habitat. The tree removal could potentially affect some of the habitat. So I just wanted to make the planning board aware that, that these species, while not specifically located at the site, there was a habitat assessment done by the applicant that did describe that these habitats do exist, and that they would be somewhat disturbed as a result of the proposed project. The areas that are most sensitive would be the wetland areas that are not going to be disturbed as part of the project. They're staying away from the wetland areas, but we can't control where the turtles move to, so they often will go outside of the wetlands to mate and reproduce. So some of the areas where the soil disturbance will occur could potentially be used by the turtles. So there's a whole host of mitigation measures that the applicant is proposing as part of their habitat assessment that we are asking. I know, Brian, you put a bunch of notes on the plan already. There's a few that are still missing. I know it's probably tough to get them all on, but we need to get them all on so that anyone purchasing the lot will understand their responsibility, because some of the the notes include educational materials for the people purchasing the lots so that when they purchase the lots, they are aware that there could be an endangered species using their property. So it's all spelled out in the negative declaration and referenced in the resolution of approval. I also sent the habitat assessment directly to DEC and at the end of June, and I have not heard from them, and ultimately it's their responsibility to issue a permit if they so choose with regards to this. We don't have jurisdiction over threatened and endangered species. The only responsibility the planning board has as lead agency is determining whether or not there's significant adverse impacts to the proposed project that can't be mitigated or avoided. So that's sort of where we're at. I gave you the information, and unfortunately, your job as lead agency is weighing the project versus the potential for impacts and the applicant's mitigation that they've proposed, which is extensive. But that's ultimately up to you with regards to the negative declaration.
But just to re-clarify, it doesn't exist there now, but they're saying that there is proximity.
They're saying that habitat exists there now. I don't believe that they found any species when they were there. But that's, I'm sure, one day showing up, you don't necessarily find the
Right.
species. So they're basically saying the potential for habitat exists there. Actually, he's saying it does exist there for Blanding's turtles. The exact thing, situation that they require to exist does exist on the site. But the part of the mitigation measures are during construction is, first of all, to avoid removing trees during times when they might be traveling on the site, and specific timing as to when they would put a foundation in and stuff like that, but also fencing and things to keep any animals that might be using the wetlands off-site
Out.
from getting onto the property. And then also, some specific, pretty specific requirements for construction workers when they're out there being educated on how to recognize a Blanding's turtle, and if one is on site, what to do, and to call DEC and all that kind of stuff. That's all spelled out in the document.
So basically, if they were to get approvals on the project, and this being the case, being put forward to anybody that would build a home there, they would come in for a permit, but they'd have to be beholden to what is the criteria inside here?
Correct.
Okay.
Because all of that is on their plan, on the plan that they're using.
Yes, and also there's a requirement specifically that, let me find the exact language for you. It's called the Blanding's Turtle Encounter Plan, and
I've read it.
and it talks about providing education materials for all contractors to inform the potential for Blanding turtles encounters and what to do if a turtle is encountered, and there's a whole description of what they're supposed to do, and that will also be included. And I was thinking that we could potentially add prior to construction a pre-construction meeting where the town provided these materials to the contractors to make sure that they had them.
And then it would be up to the building inspector, once that process was underway, to make sure that they were meeting the measures?
Yeah, well, we are gonna, another condition in the resolution is to have an environmental monitor on the site, monitoring, so
Okay.
they would be partially responsible for making sure that the fencing is up properly and all that kind of stuff, yeah.
Okay.
So we have the notes indicated on sheet one that kind of describe the mitigation measures. A lot of them that you see for like Indiana bat is, there's a certain time when you can clear trees, and
Yes.
the same thing holds true for the turtles. There's certain times that you can construct during the turtle mating season. Those notes, those restrictions are on the plan. If you refer to the last sheet on the plan set is where we talk about construction phasing, things like that. That turtle encounter pamphlet is on there. It's a standard pamphlet that we have anytime we're in areas like this. The main trigger for turtles is the Hoosick gravelly loam, is the gravelly loam. I mean, that's like half of East Fishkill. So they like to, move the sand and gravel for mating. So those notes are on the plan. Those notes will be, the map will be filed with the county clerk, and then when we go into actual physical building, we do what's called a plot plan. And the plot plan is just a mini site plan of what you're seeing here, but it's on a per lot basis. And all of those notes and those restrictions, and as Michelle mentioned, that pre-construction meeting will be transferred over to those individual plot plans. So we ensure that, you know, what's discussed here actually makes its way into construction and the builder is aware of it.
Including the environmental monitoring.
Right, that'll be part of the resolution.
Okay.
And that will be triggered as part of a building permit when they go to apply for a building permit.
Okay.
What are the responsibilities of the homeowner once the house is built and somebody owns, or restrictions?
I'm not really an expert in how they apply the Dangerous Species Takings Law, but, you know, I think that there is very little responsibility ultimately.
There's going to be very
for the
little
landowner.
oversight once the houses are actually built.
Yeah.
Okay.
Unless a subsequent owner comes in and applies for a permit for something else, there's not going to be ongoing monitoring.
I mean, the only thing that would happen is if somebody were to purposely harm a turtle that someone saw from DEC, and then you would get, and, you know, you'd have an issue. But they would have to see you doing it, essentially, yeah.
Right, and when, you know, they get their CO on the house and you have your final as-built survey, they're going to see the area where it's demarcated not to enter. You know, there's going to be posting out there, physical posting of fence posts every 35 feet to indicate a zone not to go in. So there is some visual presence there. You know, when there's, 20 years down the line, there's a change of ownership. But the way the process is now, a lot of stuff is captured, like in the plot plan, it's captured in the final survey. These are available online, so there's information out there.
Other questions by board members? If not, I'll open it up to the public. Are there any members of the public that are here to speak for or against the project?
Let's come forward, yes, my name is Frank Caracappa. As this is a public hearing, the map should be turned around for the people in the audience, and if not, then I suggest further meetings that someone come with a flash drive so that it can be displayed. I think it's, as is a public meeting, it's difficult for us to really understand what the map looks like, what the site looks like if we can't see it. It's not double-sided.
Brian, can you just flip it around for them?
Yeah, why don't we do that? And ma'am, if you would like to stay at the podium, if you have some specific questions of Brian, I'm sure he'd be happy to answer them.
I only have one question for Brian. Is that where are the trees going to be placed?
So if you're looking at the lot, we have two lots here. This is facing north.
And Brian, if you could actually get to the mic, that would be helpful.
Do a little jump around here, huh? Okay, everybody see? So we're facing north. We're on the south side of Hillside Lake Road. So we have one lot here. This is the house location. This is the second house. This is your house location. Driveways will be coming out in between Jennifer Drive and Crown Hill. And then we have a flag lot that's in the back. The trees will be planted. We're focusing development in the center of the property to shade our neighbors because we have residences on both sides of the property, east and west. We're having a couple of trees in here so that there's a little bit of a buffer between these two neighbors. And then we're having 4 trees on each lot along the frontage of these two units. Wetlands are designated on the back. Here is the edge of that pond area. And then we have a 100-foot buffer that we've shown, and along that 100-foot buffer is where we're going to have those posts that indicate what that buffer area is.
Okay, if there's other questions or comments, please come to the podium. And do we have a sign-in sheet? There is a sign-in sheet, so if we could ask you to make sure that you get your name on that, that'd be great.
My name is Karen Carroll, and I'm going to be one of the residents that's going to face these new homes, okay, which is, hopefully we'll get trees to block, are there going to be trees on Flanders Road that are going to,
We do not propose any trees along the Flanders.
in back? In the back. Okay, another thing, we have turtles in our yard. They laid eggs this year in the yard, and they always like Flanders Road and the pond. So I think we're good to go. My husband has pictures of
If you want to show them, okay, that's the mother.
the mother, I mean, it's a circle. And we always face into the pond.
Does this happen just intermittently, or is it an annual event?
This
It's
year,
an annual event,
It is, okay.
so they do
it's
exist.
in our backyard. And it's hysterical. Be careful, you won't. You know, and we just saw one of the babies the other day on the driveway, so my son just pushed the send them off to the pond. But that's basically where we've had them. I mean, we've had them for years there.
That's a snapping turtle, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay.
And then, I don't
Just to come back to the mic.
know, or if they're all
So,
Quite weird.
I have another one of the baby there too, if you want to see it. Sorry about that.
look up the one that's the one that they want you to watch out for, landings.
You can see they dig holes and you see the shells when they're all breaking out.
so it's good to know that this happens.
They do exist.
Happens in your yard, and as long as you don't disturb them, they do what they do.
Oh, absolutely.
Nice.
The swans, everything. We've been there over 40 years, so I mean,
Very nice.
You know, the wetlands that went back where they built that.
what do you do for like blacktopping and paving and the runoff water?
That would be a question for Brian. Brian, can you come back to the mic and speak to paving and runoff?
Yeah, since we're under that, like I said, that 5-acre threshold, we're allowed to discharge right to the ground, so we're in a gravelly loam situation. We're on a flat piece of property, so the DEC rules speak to allowing us to discharge directly on the ground for this project. If this was a bigger subdivision, like 40, 50 lots, bigger piece of property, we would be more into a greater disturbance area, which would trigger your stormwater ponds, your piping, your catch basins, that kind of thing. But for development under 5 acres, we're allowed to discharge to sand and gravel. If you look at DEC regs, they actually promote groundwater recharge, so they actually want the water to get back into the ground. And typically they like to do this in a construction like this. The grass acts like a filter strip, so they want the water to run off your asphalt from your driveway. They want it to get into the grass. They want it to filter naturally and then get into the ground. So that's why we don't sit there and we basically can contain it and hold it. They want it to spread and get into the ground.
Okay, thank you.
I think really one of the other questions I was just trying to express before with the water and the runoff is that I've seen one of my neighbors on the other side here, just before they get into the big pond. I mean, I've seen his leaching fields totally engulfed. Okay? So that was one of my main concerns. All right? And the property lines will be distinguished or what have you, as far as the surveys go?
I'm sorry, once again, Brian, can you speak to that?
Yeah, I mean, it's a standard subdivision, so
I'm happy that you're doing that.
there's not going to be any demarcation of property lines as part of this process. If the builder goes in and builds a house and the homeowner wants property lines staked or pinned, that's usually something that's done with the builder during the process. But as far as making sure we're in the right location and things are getting built the right way, again, that's where that plot plan process comes in. There are individual site plans that are developed based upon this template. And for example, when a foundation's put in the ground, the surveyor goes out there, they stake it. When a septic field is required to go in, the surveyor goes out and stakes it as per this plan. When we talk about septic systems, we have to meet Board of Health requirements for design. So part of that is a perk test, part of that is a deep test pit. So we have to go out there. We've gone out with the health department. You dig down 7 feet, you see where your rock or water elevation is, and that determines if you have to bring any fill in. We've gone through that process, and those systems are under review right now by the health department. So, you know, with some older applications or some older subdivisions, standards have changed over the course of time, but, you know, with a subdivision that's current, with the current regulations, there is a checks and balance to make sure that they're designed and they're not inundated with water like there may be on a neighboring piece of property.
Okay. Thank you.
Just another question too. One of my neighbors here, they have trees that are along the site fence line, and they're like overgrown over onto our property. I don't know if anything can be done about it, you know. I mean, they're huge, they're big trees.
So this is not on this project, right, the trees?
Yeah,
I mean, they're on this 3-lot subdivision?
it goes right onto the property, on our property line.
So if somebody has a complaint about trees that are impinging on his property, who would they come talk to?
Are they trees that are going to be removed as part of this project?
I'm sorry, did I say that again?
I was just wondering, I was just asking Brian if they were trees that would be removed as part of the project. So they're further back on the site?
Generally speaking, I think it doesn't even make it to the town because someone will just cut an overhanging branch that's on their property. Something the board could consider if it wants to move forward is adding a condition that any branches that overhang onto adjacent properties, the applicant will have to cut those branches down.
Okay, the thing that isn't clear to me is, are these trees are on the property that you're representing,
It's right
Brian?
on our borderline.
Okay.
Yeah, it's Mrs. Sheehy and myself.
But are they on your property?
They're overhanging
It's
on his
right there.
So the trees are on your property and the branches
No,
from the tree?
no. The tree is on their property.
Okay.
They're being who?
I think it was the fire
And
department.
you're talking about the project?
Branches overhang.
Oh, yeah, big time.
So they would have to cut the branches.
So,
No, and she's afraid they're gonna fall, you know, and all that stuff.
so I'm not, I guess since the map has been turned around, it's hard for me to envision this. Brian, can you possibly add some clarity to this and tell us, give us some thoughts? That's okay, you don't have to turn around for me necessarily.
Yeah.
So what I think the trees are kind of like more down into this area here. If you look at our common driveway, if you look at our flag lot driveway,
It's between these two right here.
yes,
Let's be right in here.
yeah, we're not showing any tree clearing. Again, this piece used to be A1 fence, right? So at one point, this served as a business on this site. Our property was cleared, so.
Can you go to the mic again? Thank you.
Sorry.
Playing hopscotch. Again, this site was cleared and was used as a former business back, 30, 40 years ago. So a large portion of this property has already been cleared. There's a tree line toward the back of the property. We're not really going near that. I think we're going to, in the center of the property, we're going to go in a little bit just to install a well. So if there's a tree here or there that may need to be removed, that would probably be the case. But any tree of significance, we're not necessarily going to be taking anything down. There could be some scrub brush or some smaller diameter trees, but
Are the trees in question within the wetland area?
it looks like it may be close.
So
So if it's in the wetland area, it's not something you'd want to disturb, correct?
you're not,
So I guess the answer to your question, sir, is those probably won't be disturbed because they are in the wetlands area,
Okay,
or very close.
okay.
Any other questions or comments by members of the public?
One of my questions is, as far as the clearance goes, as far as the positioning of the wells, other people's septic tanks with the leaching fields, and he said they have to be Board of Health approved and all of that, right?
That is correct. And yes, our approval,
You gotta be 100 feet away or something?
I'm not sure what the rules are, but our approval is always subject to Health Department approval.
Okay, all right, very good.
Yep.
100 feet between the septic and a well.
100 feet between the septic
And a well.
and the well?
Yeah.
Wow, I thought it was the leaching fields in the wells. The leaching fields. Wow. Think about it.
I'm not sure, but I can assure you, I've got confidence that the Health Department will make certain that it's been laid out properly. And I also have confidence in Brian.
All right, thank you.
Yes, you're welcome.
And I'm glad he's putting up the home.
Yeah, great. And I did see another hand go up. Hi.
I'm Susan Walensky, I live at 3 Flanders Road, and I don't have those big trees that they have. So I really don't want to face a road coming in. Could they put up a couple couple of pine trees. That's my backyard.
Yeah, we're not putting in the road. These homes, the first two homes will be located probably 120 feet off of Hillside Lake Road, so they're pushed up toward Hillside Lake Road. And then the third lot, which is the flag lot, that house is actually pushed up toward the back property line of lots 1 and 2. So that third home, that flag lot home, is probably going to be about 450 feet off Hillside Lake Road, so.
Yeah, well, of course, Crown Hill is just right by my backyard. Do you know what I mean? So.
Right, so we're going to be pushing those homes in, so those homes are not going to be located towards your house. So we do have.
Well, I'd like to maintain just a little privacy, just in case, that's all.
Yeah, we have 8 pine trees that are going along
Yeah,
the front.
that would be fine.
Does that help the lady, with the cars that are pointing at the house across the road?
Just one more thing.
Yeah.
Mrs. Natalia, your name is? Soon as you're pulling out, you'd be like putting the lights right at the window.
Sir, you have to, if you would like to speak, I'm not trying to be, you have to come to the podium and you have to speak into the microphone. Sorry. No, I apologize.
No, my question was what she's talking about with the lighting and the cars pulling in and out. And the lights would be pointing directly across at the other lady's house across the street. And then one of my other neighbors brought up another issue, was when you're looking down to pull out, there's like a curve in the road, and the people do 45, 50 miles an hour there. If they could take a look at that just to see what can be done there.
So, sir, the road is a county road, and the county has been contacted, and they're reviewing the driveway location, and they will look to make sure that the site distances work. And the resolution, there will be a condition on the subdivision approval that Dutchess County approve the driveway location. And so they'll have to permit it, and they won't permit it if it doesn't meet site distance requirements, which is what you're
Even
talking
when we
about.
pull out of Flanders Road, I mean, you have to look once, twice, and look again, because those guys going north, I mean, they're flying. Okay? Thank you, buddy.
Okay. Any other questions or comments? If not, I'll accept a motion to close the public hearing.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, we do have a negative declaration and a resolution. I'm going to do my best in the interest of time to summarize some of the information, because there's a great deal of information, particularly with regards to the environmental impacts of the Blanding turtles and the bats.
Mr. Chairman, do you want to add in does the board want to add in a condition about trimming the tree branches that overhang neighboring properties?
Well, I guess the issue is really if they're in the wetland area, I guess they can't be disturbed. Am I correct in saying that?
They could trim the tree. It's not cutting the whole tree down, it's trimming it, trimming the branches.
Now, is he within his rights to trim the trees that are hanging?
He could do it too.
That are hanging over his yard?
The owner could.
Lop them right off, I would think.
But they'd have to grant him permission to do it, no?
Anything that's overhanging, you can cut.
It's overhanging his property.
So Brian, are you familiar with what we're talking about, and is there a real issue here, or is it something perhaps that we could make a condition that you could review this with the town planner and make a determination at that point? Is that okay?
Yeah, I'd like to get
can go out.
bearing on it and see.
I'd like to see where the survey line is too as well, so we could go out there
We could work on
together.
that with Michelle.
So we'll add a condition that it will be subject to the approval of the town planner. Does that work? Okay.
Make that 10.
So, the negative declaration, Shady Creek subdivision, unlisted action, and the environmental issues identified as relevant include land use and zoning, visual character, wetlands, plants and animals, transportation, and other. On all but the wetlands, plants, and animals, this really comes out just fine. In the case of land use and visual character, the proposed lots are a residential use. This is in a residential zone, and so forth. It's consistent with the character of the area. The wetland, plants, and animals, we've already heard a summary of the issues out there that were given to us by Michelle. And she also reviewed with us the fact that there are a number of protections and things to do in the event that turtles are encountered that are going to be requirements of this approval, but most importantly also contained on the plans so that it survives forever. Any other owner will be aware of all of these things. And lastly, transportation and other, these are not expected to generate any significant new traffic, and there's no other significant potential impacts. And so with that, could I have a motion to approve the negative declaration?
I'll make the motion, but I also have a question.
Okay, please go ahead with the question first.
Michelle, should we also include that there's going to be a required environmental monitor during construction to help ensure that these conditions are being enforced?
We could consider that as part of the mitigation if you want, yeah, sure.
I think especially during construction, that's when we're going to have the most exposure to these species potentially.
Okay.
So I'll make a note of that, and I'll revise the negative declaration to include the environmental monitor as part of the mitigation.
Excellent.
With that adjustment, I made the motion to approve.
Very good. Second?
Second.
All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, and next is the resolution of subdivision approval. Resolution offered by Planning Board member John Eichman. There are a number of whereases, and many of these relate to some of the issues associated with the site, in particular with regards to the environmental issues that we talked about earlier. But now, therefore, be it resolved that the Planning Board hereby grants subdivision approval for the above project as represented on a map entitled Shady Creek Subdivision prepared by Day & Stokosa Engineering dated May 29th, 2025, and last revised July 31st, 2025, subject to the following conditions. Number 1, approval from Dutchess County Board of Health. Number 2, recreation fees in the amount of $13,000 due to the town of East Fishkill prior to the signing of the subdivision plat in final form by the duly authorized officer of the East Fishkill Planning Board. Number 3, applicant shall fund an escrow in the amount to be determined by the town engineer for an environmental monitor during construction. Number 4, applicant must follow New York State DEC tree clearing restrictions and soil conservation and dust control best management practices related to the protection of the Indiana bat. Number 5, all required mitigation measures for the Indiana bat and Blanding's turtle as presented in the Threatened and Endangered Species Habitat Suitability Assessment Report prepared by the applicant's consultant Michael Nowicki of Ecological Solutions and dated June 25th, 2025, must be included as notes on the plan. Number 6, satisfactory resolution of all comments in the Rennie Engineering Review Memo dated August 15th, 2025. Number 7, satisfactory resolution of all comments in the HVEA Review Memo dated July 11th, 2025. Number 8, applicant must provide driveway permit from Dutchess County approving driveway or a letter approving the driveway as shown on the approved plans dated May 29th, 2025, and last revised July 31st, 2025. And lastly, number 9, applicant must obtain any required permits from all involved agencies, including but not limited to New York State DEC and Dutchess County.
And then we have 10 for the
And number 10 is
The applicant shall complete a tree trimming review subject to the approval of the town planner.
excellent. And so with that addition, could I have a second to this motion?
second.
We'll do a roll call vote. Board Member Lori G.
Aye.
Ed Mayoshi. Aye. Sarah Bledsoe.
Aye.
Richard Campbell.
Aye.
Donald Pepe.
Aye.
John Giavagnoli, excuse me. And John Eichman, I'm an aye. It passes. You're welcome. Thank you. Okay. With that, the next item is for discussion, and it is Mamma Mia Restaurant, LLC.
How you doing?
Good evening, thank you.
Good evening.
Jim, your water.
Good evening, go ahead.
I'm Joe Cardozo. I own Mama Mia's. I'm looking to put a garage up. I've been here before, but due to circumstances, I backed away with the application. Now I renewed the application, and I'm here to put a 3-car garage up on my property in the back of the restaurant. It's got nothing to do with the restaurant. This is for the residential for the house, just for me to put my cars in it.
Okay. And I understand what there may be some variances that are required by the zoning?
Yes, because of the size of the garage, it's some square foot, it's bigger than the house, so I'm going to need a variance for that. But everything else, we have the map plan on it, and everything else that is, I guess, is required,
Okay.
Because I have an appointment Tuesday with the planning board.
Zoning.
Zoning board, yeah, zoning board.
Got it. Okay, so this will be similar to some other projects that we've had where we'll do a coordinated review and a public hearing that serves both the zoning board's action as well as the planning board's action. And so I guess the first thing we need to do is I'll accept a motion to declare intent to be lead agency.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? And I'll accept a motion to refer this applicant to the zoning board.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
And any
I
opposed?
think we're going to do the public hearing, I'm going to ask MC this, but we can do the public hearing at the zoning board instead of here, or do you want to do the public hearing here? Because you're going to have a public hearing at the zoning board. Can we utilize their public hearing for the planning board?
I think it would actually make the most sense to have one public hearing here rather than at the zoning board, because also you're serving as lead agency.
Which is how we've done it in the past.
We can go with one public hearing on
All right,
this.
so the applicant will go to the zoning board, then get sent back to us for the public hearing, and then go back to the zoning board? Okay, that's fine. I just want to make sure I understood, so I can...
I don't know if there, I think we can all see there's not a whole lot to this application.
Right.
Probably set a public hearing for your next meeting as well.
Okay, good, that's what
For the next meeting.
You could set a public hearing, just given secret circulation timelines, you wouldn't necessarily be able to approve it, but you could at least set the public hearing to get that requirement over with.
Okay. So would you be available to have a public hearing here on our next meeting, which is September 18th?
September 18th, sure.
18th.
18th?
18th is Tuesday. And what you'll want to do is to visit
That's a Thursday.
with Jackie.
Jackie.
And she'll help you, guide you on how you send out notices and things of that nature.
Okay.
Thursday, John.
I'm sorry, it's Thursday?
18th is Thursday.
Oh, I thought it was a Tuesday. My apologies, it is a Thursday, just to correct that. Thank you. So Jackie will help you with that, so I'll accept a motion to schedule a public hearing for this applicant for our meeting on September 18th, 2025.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, so we'll look forward to seeing you back here after you...
Look forward to see all of you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. And the last item on the agenda is an adjourned public hearing. Valley Christian Church was originally scheduled to continue a public hearing this meeting, but I'll accept a motion to further adjourn this to our September 18th, 2025 meeting.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? So if there's no other business to be brought before the planning board, I'll accept a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.